Everyone's always talking about it, but what's so great about the 2JZ engine? The 3-liter inline-six Toyota engine first became available in 1991 and continued all the way until 2007. There were two main versions of the 2JZ. There was the 2JZ GTE and the 2JZ GE. Both of those also had a non-VVTi and a VVTi version. The more famous of the two is the 2JZ GTE. This is the turbo engine that everybody knows and loves. It came in the Toyota Supra, like the one in the Fast and the Furious.
Pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
Pop the hood.
2JZ engine, no shit.
And what did I tell you?
And it also came in the Toyota Aristo, but we never got those in the States. We also never got the VVTi version of the 2JZ GTE. The original GTE made 276 horsepower and 320 foot-pounds of torque. The US and European market engines made 320 horsepower. The Japanese version was restricted due to the gentleman's agreement between Japanese automakers that they had at the time. The naturally aspirated 2JZ GE made 225 horsepower and 210 foot-pounds of torque. It came in Lexus SC300s, IS300s, GS300s, and other Japanese market Toyota vehicles. All of these engines share the same iron block, aluminum heads, and dual overhead cam setup. The non-VVTi 2JZ used a distributor, but all of the other ones used coil on plug. The VVTi 2JZ GE is notorious for having weaker rods than all of the others. The others share the same strong connecting rods. The GTE uses different pistons and a thicker head gasket to lower compression, and it also has oil squirters to keep the pistons cool from the bottom side. The blocks are nearly identical between the GTE and the GE, but the heads are very different. So now you have an idea of what the 2JZ is, but what makes it so great? Sound, Toyota reliability, power levels, what more could you ask for? From the factory, the power levels were nothing special, but these engines are capable of making a ton more power with very little modification. There are countless examples of people making over 1,000 horsepower on the stock bottom end. What other engines do you know of that can make 350% more power on stock internals? The block is well designed for strength, the crank is forged steel, and even the stock multi-layer steel head gasket is good for 1,000 horsepower. The belt-driven dual overhead cam setup makes the 2JZ silky smooth. Being an inline-six gives it an inherent balance, as well as giving it good torque and low RPM compared to V6s. Inline-sixes are also extremely easy to work on. With the 2JZ having the cylinders straight up and down, it gives you a lot of space on each side of the engine for your intake and your exhaust manifolds. So anytime you have to work on those, it's a piece of cake. On top of that, every other part of the engine is just super easy to disassemble and reassemble. It's probably one of the easiest engines there is to work on. There are other inline sixes comparable to the 2JZ, but most would argue they aren't as good. Nissan's RB26 and BMW's M50s both have less displacement. The M-Series S52 did have more displacement, but it can't handle a ton of added boost like the 2JZ can. There are other engines that can handle the power levels of the 2JZ, but they're not as reliable. The 2JZ was also fairly common in the United States. There were over 200,000 of them sold in Lexus vehicles, so that's not even counting the Toyota Supras. 200,000 doesn't even come close to the millions of LS engines that GM produced, but odds are high that you can find a 2JZ in a junkyard near you. If you're talking about GTEs, the prices have skyrocketed. Complete units can go for $7,000 or more. 10 to 15 years ago, the GTE was the only engine worth buying, but that's not the case anymore. Builders have found that the GE block is just as stout, and not having the oil squirters actually helps get more consistent oil pressure. The GTE head does have better flow, but it's not a huge difference, so there's no reason to think that a GE isn't a good choice. You can always put a GTE head on the GE block, and in fact, a lot of drag racers do just that. The GEs can generally be found for less than $1,000, so about the same price as your average LS truck engine. Toyota is well known for reliability, and the 2JZ is no exception. It's not unheard of for these engines to go 300,000 plus miles with basic maintenance. You can grab a high mileage engine from a junkyard and have confidence that it will most likely run. In my opinion, the 2JZ is one of the best sounding engines around. But of course, that's only opinion. The engine is happy to live at high RPMs for a long period of time, and they can be built to rev over 8,000 RPM. The VVTIs come from the factory with a 7,200 RPM rev limit. Another factor that makes the 2JZ so great is the huge amount of aftermarket support. Single turbo manifolds can be found for a couple $100. $100 eBay intake manifolds are plentiful, and there's countless forum posts detailing all the information you would need to do basically any modification to the 2JZ. There's companies making engine swap mounts for tons of different chassis for the 2JZ, and it fits in pretty much anything. The 2JZ GTE weighs around 550 pounds fully dressed. Definitely not the lightest engine there is, but it makes up for it with its power capabilities. An Iron Block LS engine weighs a little over 500 pounds, so if you were to add a turbo kit to that, it'd be right around the same weight as a 2JZ. But the 2JZ can handle more abuse than just about any other engine. There's thousands of them in drift cars spending most of their life banging off rev limiter. They can get way hotter than any engine wants to be and still keep on running. I know from personal experience that they can keep running and make good power while having seriously damaged pistons. With low compression on 2 cylinders, it'll still rip and you'll hardly notice the difference. The 2JZ has broken tons of records in drag racing. In the 2024 Haltech World Cup Finals, 8 of the 17 cars in the Outlaw versus Extreme class were running a 2JZ. Out of those 17 cars, all 4 that made it to the semifinals were powered by a 2JZ. So of course, that means a 2JZ won the Outlaw versus Extreme class. In the X275 versus Hot Rod class, 3 of the 4 cars in the semifinals were 2JZ powered. If you look at any 6-cylinder drag racing records, you can bet that the 2JZ is on the top, if not close. Plus, it also frequently beats engines with twice as much displacement as it. One thing you may also notice while looking at drag racing standings is that the 2JZ is probably least likely to fail off the line. That's just speculation, of course, so take it with a grain of salt. But one thing is for sure, the 2JZ is a consistent machine. On top of drag racing, the 2JZ has always been a top contender in drifting. James Dean came over to Formula Drift from Ireland with a 2JZ S15 and won back-to-back championships. The top teams in Formula Drift are steering towards more modern engines, but there were still 3 2JZs in the top 10 of this season's standings. All of these things make the 2JZ a great engine. That's why you'll see it in everything from Jeep Wranglers to jet boats. The 2JZ is loved by many, and for good reason. Is the 2JZ the greatest engine ever made? Maybe. I'll let you guys decide. Let me know what engines you think are better than the 2JZ. Do you want to see a side-by-side of the 2JZ versus other engines? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more.